Welcome to the 30-second drill, where there. Oh my god, I just completely lost what I was saying. I'll try again.
We need a script for the intro. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we do. Welcome to the 30-second intro, where two Australians discuss American football in the quickest way possible. I'm Josh Reese.
I'm Shane Campbell.
We'll start with week one with the Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Welcome to the podcast. This is all you can expect from now on. It ain't getting any better.
Nope.
So a bit of a rundown of how we're going to do things. We're going to do a bit of QB news, talk about each game, make some predictions and move on. Trying to keep it to 30 seconds max per game and just get through it pretty quickly. So as Josh said, it is the Detroit Lions at Kansas City Chiefs. Bit of QB news with Jared Goff coming off arguably his best season under Johnson's the OC. We'll see if they'll be looking to build on that, and this could potentially be Lions' best season since 1991 when they won their last playoff game. Josh, you want to take the Chiefs?
Well, the Chiefs are potentially looking at becoming the first team to go 20-0 this season. They have the best quarterback in the game who would have his sights firmly set on catching Tom Brady over time. He's coming off an MVP year and rolling in the Super Bowl, which is just what Patrick Mahomes does. He's one of my favorites. Unfortunately, he's not on my team, but I think the Chiefs will beat the Lions, even though they do have a holdout, but with Chris Jones, but I don't think it will matter.
And I'm going to pick Australia's team, the Detroit Lions.
Australia's
team, Detroit Lions.
Now we have the Panthers at the Falcons. For the Panthers, Frank Reich and Bryce Young could be a match made in heaven, but I also think that Frank Reich thought that about Carson Wentz and then Matt Ryan, so Frank Reich could be sacked. Who knows?
And as far as the Falcons go, they are a long way off being 28-3 up in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a long season for Falcons fans. There probably aren't any in Australia, but for anyone else listening, hopefully you're not one either. I am taking the Panthers on the road.
I am taking the Falcons.
We have a Falcons fan.
So we disagree on everything so far.
Next game, we have the Texans at the Ravens. Texans have a rookie QB. Good luck to them against the Ravens, another team in for a long season.
With the Ravens, if Lamar stays fit, he could potentially perform at his MVP level. They could potentially also take the division and threaten the Chiefs. Lamar's got the most weapons he's ever had, and I can't wait to watch the Ravens this year, especially if Lamar stays fit. I'm picking the Ravens to roll the Texans.
I'm also taking the Ravens.
Of course you copied me. Unbelievable. Now we're moving on to the Bengals at the Browns, where we were told Joe Burrow is several weeks into his several weeks on the sidelines with his calf injury. He is starting to train, and they've said he's going to play week one. However, he has a poor record against the Browns. But if anyone's going to overcome something like that, I believe Joe Burrow is the man to do that.
And with the Browns, this is Deshaun Watson's year two of that massive contract. So we won't be wanting to see some return on the investment. Otherwise, Stefanski is gone. As Josh touched on, though, I believe Burrow is 1-4 against the Browns. So we'll see if you can turn that around. But I am taking the Bengals.
I am also taking the Bengals.
Cool. Next up, we have Jags at Colts. With Jags, Trevor Lawrence, MVP season, potentially. And to be honest, a great run. Apart from Mahomes, they could enter every game as favorite. Sneaky 16-1 chance here.
With the Colts, in my opinion, they got the rookie of the year at quarterback with Anthony Richardson. However, they do have one of the best running backs in the game holding out in Jonathan Taylor. I think he's on the PUP list, so he'll be missing the first 4 weeks, which gives them their biggest star weapon on the offense out for the first 4 weeks with a rookie quarterback. I don't like that for poor Anthony Richardson. I'm picking the Jags.
I'll also be taking the Jags in this one.
Next up, we have the Bucks at the Vikings. If the Bucks perform well, just well, I would be very surprised. I didn't think they were good with Tom Brady. They now have Baker Mayfield. I think they'll suck.
Tell us what you really think there, Josh. And they have the Vikings with TV superstar Kirk Cousins. I believe this will be his last season there. I don't think he'll be any better in primetime. So just a first round exit's the best they can hope for, I think. I will be taking the Vikings, though, in this one.
I will also be taking the Vikings.
All right. Next up, we have Titans at Saints. I believe this will be Tannehill's last year at the Titans. I think Vrabel's looking to move on. I don't think Tannehill really has recovered since that capitulation against the Bengals in the playoffs a year and a half ago. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be a very good season for the Titans this year.
With the Saints, they've got Derek Carr at quarterback this season, and they'll have the best quarterback in division. And I feel like they've kind of just fell into that. But with that in mind and their draw, they should have a really good season this year. I'm picking the Saints.
I'm also taking the Saints. Sneaky 12-5. Keep an eye out for that one.
Next up, we have the 49ers at the Steelers. For the 49ers, a lot of conjecture around who their QB 1, 2, and 3 are. We have Purdy at QB 1 and Sam Darnold at QB 2. However, if you take the 49ers' history over the last few years, their QB 2 will soon be QB 1, or someone's going to get injured. But they do still have one of the best rosters in the whole of the NFL, but just still can't figure out that quarterback position.
And onto the Steelers, I believe Kenny Pickett looks the goods. I am very high on him. I think he is the second best QB in the division, and I think he will lead the Steelers to the playoffs this year as the wild card.
Who's your pick?
I'll take the Steelers.
I'm taking the 49ers.
Next up, we have the Cardinals at the Commanders. Cardinals are useless, so I've got nothing to say about them. 0-17.
I could not care any less about this game. I had to Google who the Commanders' quarterback is, and when I found out, I didn't care. I'm just going to say that the Commanders will win because I have no reason.
I'm also taking the Commanders because I said 0-17 for Cardinals.
Now we have the Packers at the Bears. This is my personal theory on the Packers. I think they're one of the best run organizations in the league. And the story I'm going with this season, which could just absolutely be torn up and thrown away very quickly, is they're going to go from Favre to Rodgers to drafting Caleb Williams at number 1 next year. And what everyone will say is a masterstroke. If they listen to me, and I think we know that they won't, it would set them up for 15 years of dominance.
I don't think they'll be getting Caleb Williams because Cardinals, as has been previously stated, going 0-17, so it'll be tough to beat that. The Bears, big boom or bust season for Justin Fields. I'm not as high on him as a lot of people think he's going to be an MVP dark horse. Last in the division for the Bears this year, I think. I will be taking the Packers.
I'll be taking the Bears.
Next up, we have Raiders at Broncos. Big question for this season is, can Josh McDaniels coach? I don't believe he can. Failed at the Broncos, failing at the Raiders now. Jimmy G is not better than Carr. I think they will actually, as a big downgrade. And another team in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
For the Broncos, the big question is Russ washed? We know Sean Payton is a very good coach and he's been making a lot of noise and it's not looking great at this stage. There's a lot of questions around this side, but I'm not going to jump off the Broncos. I will stay on that ship for a very, very long time until I believe Russ is washed, and then I will jump off very quickly. I am picking the Broncos to beat the Raiders.
I'll also take the Broncos.
Next up, we have the Dolphins at the Chargers in what should be an absolute cracker of a game. If Tua can stay healthy, I think that the Dolphins, can take the AFC East. All their potential and everything they can do depends on that man and staying healthy.
With the Chargers, big fan of Herbert. Have liked him from the start, but I have my doubts about Staley. He's stuffed up epically the last 2 seasons. So I'm just waiting to see how he stuffs up again before he gets fired. They potentially look at bringing in Harbaugh. This game, I will be taking the Dolphins.
I'll also be taking the Dolphins for this game.
All right, next up, we have the Eagles at the quarterbackless Patriots. Jalen Hurts will just be looking to build on next year. Can they go one step further to win the Super Bowl this year? I like their chances coming out of the NFC. Their main challenge, though, is, of course, Australia's team, the Detroit Lions.
The Patriots, we've seen Mac with an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator pretending to be an offensive coordinator, and one of those sucked, which wasn't a surprise. I'm choosing to believe he'll be much better this year, as both he and Bill need to be much better. I am picking the Patriots.
I'm taking the Eagles, as I believe Mac Jones is the fifth best quarterback in his division at best.
All right. Rams at Seahawks. Is Stafford back to full operations? The Rams tried to trade him. Does he have a big enough chip on his shoulder to come back and perform how he did 2 seasons ago? That is the big question around the Rams.
With the Seahawks, I don't think Gino's going to replicate what he did last year, so there'll be a slight decline. This game, well, I'm going to take the Rams.
I'm also taking the Rams.
All right, next up we have Cowboys at the Giants. Good NFC East classic battle here. Is Dak the intercept king of the league now? Or was last year a bit of an anomaly? I think he will pull back on the interceptions a little bit, but I do not think he's a top 10 QB in the league, as some suggest. And if they don't go far in the playoffs this year, this could be Mike McCarthy's last year.
For the Giants, the question is, how much better will Daniel Jones get under Brian Daboll? Or is he going to be, like his opposite for this game, the most overpaid quarterback in the league? I'm choosing to believe that they'll get better, and I'm picking the Giants.
I'm also taking the Giants in this one.
Now we have the Bills at the Jets. The Bills are a team I have big opinions on. So everyone says Josh Allen is up there with Burrow and Mahomes, but I don't think he is. I think this year he'll be overtaken by Lamar, Herbert, and Hurts. And it's the same movie with the same cast, and it wasn't great the first time or the second and the third. So stop telling me it's going to be great this time. I don't think the Bills are what everyone thinks they are.
Big season for the Jets. They've gone all in. They can't stop talking about Super Bowls. So even making the playoffs and losing will seem like a big disappointment for this team. I'm very pumped to watch this team, seeing what Aaron Rodgers can do. Hopefully he has a bounce back year, because I like the guy, despite what Josh thinks of him.
I am picking the Jets.
I'm taking the Bills. So I don't like him that much.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 30-second drill. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.